Blood spurted out of the pirate's throat, a clean cut. The larvatite scanned the area and raised its hand, signaling to the other three Vesperians to move forward. It was a standard tactic they used. Attack in one area, divert attention, attack in another, congregate defenses, then slip behind and wipe the rest out. It had gone well enough. The pirates had been dropping like flies, the rest scattered. The larvatites were informed of a group of pirates who had taken control of a large mansion that held incomprehensible wonders or horrors, depending on who you asked. Either way, their job had been to reclaim the mansion. The outer defenses were thin and spread out. They were easily able to slip through. The regiment were equipped with top-of-the-line weaponry, crystal blades, a recent development of the mages in the Zasa Academy of Magic. Though they couldn't understand why they needed such high-tier weaponry for such a simple operation. The larvatites prided themselves on their quality over quantity military. They had the fiercest forces on the planet. The Creon Battalion in particular were titled Angels of Death. Their works were easily recognizable, so they couldn't understand when they were asked to take a house from pirates. They were offered good money. It was hard to come across after the rot, so they took it anyway. The pirates weren't the issue, it was what they were protecting. They found it quickly. It was just a matter of ticking hiding places off the list. A thin entrance under a floorboard. Only one could get through at a time. It was claustrophobic, uncared for, writhing with spiderwebs and bugs. They reached the light eventually though. It was a strange room. It resembled no form of culture they had seen. It was mostly white, aside from the blood. Bodies lay across the walls, mages and scientists alike from a pool of species, drakers, Iraniids, Serpises and others, each from a corner of the world. There were blinding lights on the roof. They had never seen such a thing before. No chandelier, no grand structure, it was just a rod that emitted light. Yet, it was the greatest thing they had ever seen. There was a strike of thunder. Odd, they each thought. It was a clear night. The mages had told them that there wouldn't be an inch of rain. There was another sound. It was strange, as if a large object had hit the ground above them. Though when they focused their attention to their fronts, they noticed it. A great suit of armor, 8 feet tall at the least. It had a terrifying helmet to go with it. It was clad black, you wouldn't see it in the night. Next to the armor were metal frames, they had needles and pins protruding from them. They looked like they were supposed to be worn. The larvatites peered closer through the holes in their masks. One of them noticed a piece of parchment on a table. It picked it up and was going to read it, if not for the bangs of someone walking or something. Each raised their blade and a hand, prepared to blow whatever it was. They faced the door. It rattled as debris crashed against it. Before they could even cast a bolt, a hole appeared in the door and one of the larvatites fell to the floor. A candle-sized hole left in its skull. Its mask shattered and fell off, a featureless face left behind. No eyes, nose, mouth or ears to witness what had just occurred. 2 seconds later, a lance with a glowing turquoise tip blasted through another. The door was thrown open. A great metal beast lay before the one still alive, a live preview of the armor they had just stood before. The lance was pulled back to its hand. One larvatite rushed the thing. The blade bounced off of the armor. It faced the larvatite. Dread filled it. It looked through the empty glass face and could see death looming behind the thing, a pawn to it. The final larvatite looked on in hopelessness and horror as it picked it up by the throat effortlessly and slammed it off of the ground, picking it up again and punching it with the force of a building, shattering its mask and leaving it on the ground and watching deep crimson blood seep out of it. The final larvatite stumbled around, fixated on the thing. It took a glimpse of a change on the midnight color of the armor, seeing a sword and shield on a blue canvas, though draped in the blood of its friend. It continued to stumble around, knocking over chairs, tables and glasses. It pulled a small crystal out of its pocket and waved its hand, sending a warning message to every single thing it could, labeling it simply as human. The thing raised its rifle and put a bullet through the larvatite's skull. Fragments of its mask fell to the ground. As it just fell to the floor and slumped over, the ground lay covered in its blood. The thing turned around, heading towards the armor. It threw it out the way and picked up a strange object. It had a base of black stone and a transparent top with small dots scattered inside of it. Stars. The thing admired it. It was a beacon to a traveling fleet. Despite its meaningless nature to anybody else, one word echoes through humanity in that moment: revenge. The soldier wiped his brow, cleaning the dirt off of it. Mesmerizing lights flew over the army, landing and transforming the ground as it shook and blew upward. Other soldiers were thrown into the air, blown to pieces by an innocent-looking blue light. The soldier had been here for 2 weeks. The reclamation was progressing well, the extermination even better. This battle though was one they did not expect to return home from. The Battle of Troy had been the first case of humanity being stopped, or so they thought. An object flew overhead. The humans recognized it as a carrier torpedo. Its signature call of thunder resonated after 2 beasts fell from it. 8-foot-tall metal beings, armed to the cell. A wave of morale and courage swept the human army. They screamed in unison and charged out of their trenches. The Round Table Knights had arrived. Victory was ensured. The author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.